Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 verse 15. Sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishto mattah smriti jnanam apohanam cha vedaischa sarvai aham eva vedyo vedant kritved videv chaham. I am situated as the indwelling supersoul in the hearts of all living entities. From me come remembrance, knowledge, and the destruction of both. By all the Vedas, I alone am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta and the knower of the Vedas. Shri Krishna is explaining some very important points in this verse. Earlier in this chapter, he had said, Mam ev anshaha jiv loke jiv bhutaha sanatanaha, that the living entities are my eternal parts and parcel, but they are separated from me, and therefore they are struggling in this world with their mind as well as other senses. And then he explained that how the living entity transmigrates from one body to another body along with the subtle body, which consists of mind, intelligence, and false ego. So the question comes that when we go from one physical body in this life to another physical body in the next life, then even though our mind goes with this, our intelligence, right? These are part of our subtle body, and subtle body goes along with the soul to the next body, then why is it that we forget our previous lives? Why do we forget who we were in our previous life, and who were our relatives? What did we all do? The knowledge that we acquired? Why do we forget all of that? So Krishna is explaining that in this verse. He says, Sarvasya cha aham hridi, that I am situated in everyone's heart. How? In the form of super soul or Paramatma. And he says, from me come remembrance, knowledge, as well as the destruction of both the remembrance and knowledge. That means it is because of Krishna that one forgets one's previous lives, and it is only because of him that we attain knowledge as well. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states in the commentary that just as I am the digestive fire in the stomach, I, the super soul, have entered the hearts of all moving and non-moving living entities as the principle of memory. So Krishna had explained in the earlier verses that he is that digestive fire in the stomach that helps digest the food. So similarly, he also, as the super soul in our heart, is the one because of whom one has memory or loss of memory. So Krishna had explained that he only provides all the vegetables and fruits. He provides the energy for them to grow. Then he also provides that energy in the form of fire within our body to digest that food. So he's providing everything. Similarly, he is also providing the remembrance and forgetfulness. And there is good reason for both of these. So from him comes remembrance of the objects one has previously experienced. And when one's senses contact sense object, knowledge comes. So while we are in this physical body, we do remember what we have done in the earlier days or the last year or the last month. Then when we interact with various objects, then from that we also acquire knowledge. So, but when we go from one physical body to the next body, and sometimes within the same physical body, we also forget. So that forgetfulness comes from Shri Krishna. See, if you remember what your previous life was, then you would not be peaceful in this body, right? Because then you will have attachment to those who were in your previous life. All the ups and downs, happiness and miseries, gains and losses that you experienced in the previous life, they will also torment you in this life as well. So Krishna, very merciful, gives you a clean state to start again from. However, based on the impressions that you are carrying over from your previous life, you have certain tendencies and certain inclinations. So by the knowledge that Krishna is providing in Bhagavad Gita, we can understand what kind of activities we may have performed in the previous life. So if we are suffering in this life, then we know that we must have done something sinful. If you are enjoying some luxuries and have lot of wealth, that shows that you did something very pious in the previous life. And then based on the knowledge that the Lord is providing, you can rectify what you did, rectify the sinful actions that you may have performed in the previous life, and stay on the path of righteousness. And that knowledge comes from the Vedas, that what is the right path, what should we be doing in this life, how should I live my life properly. So that knowledge comes from the Vedas. And Krishna is saying that I am the compiler of the Vedanta. I am the one who knows the Vedas, and the purpose of the Vedas is to know me. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that after Sri Bhagavan explains the assistance he gives the jiva in his bound state, in the form of providing nourishment for his physical body, digesting the food, and then also all the knowledge and the remembrance, then Krishna goes on to explain his arrangements for the jiva to attain the liberated state. He says that through my incarnation as Ved Vyas, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and therefore I alone know the meaning of the Vedas. In other words, nobody knows that meaning but me. This is a very, very important point to understand, that all the Vedic scriptures have been compiled by Maharshi Vedvyas, and he was an empowered incarnation of Sri Krishna, and this is clearly explained in the scriptures. So who knows better the meaning of a book, or the essence of a book, or what he is trying to explain in a book, than the writer himself, than the author himself? Nobody else would know it better. So since all the scriptures, Vedic scriptures, were written by Srila Vedvyas, he knows the best that what is the purpose of the Vedas, and he is only a plenary portion of the portion of the portion of portion of Sri Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Krishna knows the meaning of all the Vedas better than anyone else. And he is clearly stating here that the purpose of the Vedas is to know me. That indicates that if you read all the Vedic scriptures but do not come to the conclusion that Sri Krishna is a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that we are his eternal parts and parcels, and that our eternal religion is to serve him with love and devotion, then that study of Vedas that you have undertaken has not served its purpose, because you have not come to the right understanding. And therefore, since Krishna knows the meaning, the purpose of the Vedic scriptures. He is giving the essence of all of that in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. That's why Sri Adi Shankaracharya said that Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all the scriptures. Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogda Gopala Nandanaha. That all the Upanishads, all the Vedic scriptures are like the cow. And Shri Krishna, like a cowherd boy, is milking this cow of which is all the Upanishads, all the Vedic scriptures, and the milk that he is thus manifesting is the essence of Vedic scriptures, and that is Bhagavad Gita. Just like milk is the essence of everything that the cow eats, similarly Bhagavad Gita is the essence. It's a summary of everything that has been given in the Vedic scriptures by Maharshi Vedvyas. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this also very nicely, saying that how the Supreme Lord in his three manifestations as the all-pervading Brahman, and then as the localized Super Soul or the Paramatma, and then as Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, assists the living entity in his journey from the conditioned material state to the liberated spiritual state. He says that Krishna is saying that I am situated as the super soul or Ishwar in the hearts of all living entities. According to the results of the living entities' past actions, they acquire memory, knowledge and forgetfulness of both. Therefore, I am not only the impersonal Brahm who pervades the whole universe. So in that form, he is pervading the whole universe. He is providing the energy through the sun, which nourishes the vegetables and the fruits and everything. So he is pervading the entire creation in the form of his impersonal form or the Brahman, but also as Paramatma he is situated in the hearts of the living beings, and he is the one who bestows the fruit of their karma upon them. Right? And then furthermore, Krishna says, I am not just the living entities worshipable Brahm and Paramatma, but I am also their instructor and bestow eternal auspiciousness upon them. I am Bhagwan, and I alone am to be known by all the Vedas. I am the compiler and knower of Vedas. So like this, he is assisting, he is helping the suffering living entities in this world. As Brahm, he pervades the material world for the auspiciousness of all living entities. As Ishwar or Paramatma, he pervades the hearts of all living beings. And as Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, he bestows the supreme transcendental goal. Thus, in these three manifestations, he delivers the conditioned soul. So, the Lord is all around us. He is in every atom. He is in the air we breathe. He is within our hearts as a super soul. We just have to learn to perceive him and appreciate him in everything that is in the nature. We have to appreciate his mercy. We have to appreciate his sympathy, his compassion, his love, his affection for us. In so many different ways, he is facilitating our existence in this material world. He only helps us realize that this material world is not our place to live. This is not a place where we will be happy. And then he only guides us through the Vedic knowledge back to his eternal abode. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Ji explains in the commentary that the Vedas give the right direction to people so that they can properly mold their lives and come back to Godhead, back to home. The Vedas offer knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and Krishna in his incarnation as Vyasadeva is the compiler of the Vedanta Sutras. The commentation on the Vedanta Sutra by Vyasadeva in The Srimad Bhagavatam gives a real understanding of Vedanta Sutra. So the Vedanta Sutras that were compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, he wrote a very elaborate commentary on those Vedanta Sutras, and that commentary is none other than Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the last book that he wrote. This is therefore considered as the conclusion of all the Vedic scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam. The Supreme Lord is so full that for the deliverance of the conditioned soul, he is a supplier and digester of foodstuff, the witness of his activity and the giver of knowledge in the form of the Vedas, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. He is worshipable by the conditioned soul. Thus God is all good. God is all merciful. Many times, I would say most of the time, we do not realize the mercy of the Lord. This is our biggest problem. From the morning when you get up in the morning till the night, see, everything that you are using, every activity that you are performing would not be possible without His mercy. It just takes a little humility, a little reflection, a little mood of surrender to understand the goodness of the Supreme Lord and His mercy. Even though we do not surrender to Him, even though in our entire day we do not even spend a few moments praying or worshipping Him, still He keeps on providing what we need for our sustenance. Just because you don't pray, it's not that He stops the flow of air. See, if you do not pay your bills to the electricity company, they will stop or disconnect the electrical connection. But the Supreme Lord does not stop the sun from shining. That is how merciful He is. And He keeps trying in different ways to make us understand that how miserable this world is. And after going through many miserable lives, and finally when one becomes completely frustrated in his or her attempts to find happiness in this world, then he starts turning towards the Supreme Lord. And the Lord then provides the intelligence by which we can attain Him. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada states that if one is serious about understanding the Vedic knowledge, then Krishna gives the required intelligence. Why does He present the Vedic knowledge for understanding? The answer is because a living entity individually needs to understand Krishna. Vedic literature confirms this. Yo asau sarvahi vedahi giyate. In all Vedic literature, beginning from the 4 Vedas, Vedanta Sutra and the Upanishads and the Purans, the glories of the Supreme Lord are celebrated. By performance of Vedic rituals, discussion of the Vedic philosophy and worship of the Lord and devotional service, He is attained. Therefore, the purpose of the Vedas is to understand Krishna. The Vedas give us direction by which to understand Krishna and the process of realizing Him. Vedas means knowledge, and the purpose of that knowledge is to understand the Supreme Lord and how to attain Him. What is the process of realizing Him? The ultimate goal is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vedanta Sutra confirms this in the following words: Tattu Samanvayat. One can attain perfection in 3 stages. By understanding Vedic literature, one can understand his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By performing the different processes, one can approach Him, and at the end one can attain the supreme goal, who is no other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, all this requires that one simply has some desire for it. So while the Supreme Lord arranges everything. The only thing that He does not interfere with is our free will. So when we use our free will properly to know Him, then He makes all the arrangements for us to acquire transcendental knowledge, to understand the process of how to attain Him, and makes that path very easy that leads us back to His eternal abode. So all you have to do is properly utilize your free will. Right now, we are misusing it, going against the will of the Lord. But instead, if you use your free will to accept His authority and surrender unto Him, then your life will become very, very peaceful, very blissful, and you will attain the causeless mercy of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Radhe Radhe, have a very blessed day.